Choosing the paint scheme for a naval battleship involves more considerations than merely aesthetics. Due to strategic and logistical considerations, gray has been the standard color for naval vessels. Why are these battleships painted gray? The Navy has a long history of using gray paint, and it has evolved over time to meet the various requirements of the military. Let's find out if the color choice is really a coincidence, or if it has a deeper meaning. The practice of painting Navy warships gray dates back to the early 20th century. Prior to this, ships in the Navy were painted a variety of colors, ranging from vivid scarlet to white to black. Finding a color that would be effective as camouflage and would also be visible even after extended periods at sea proved crucial. The development of naval paint schemes' exterior paint finishes have historically been very diverse from the late 19th century until World War II. Early in the 20th century, several various color combinations were fashionable. The United States Navy was referred to as the Great White Fleet because of its outstanding appearance. During World War I, the color scheme was white. Widespread use of dazzle camouflage made it difficult to utilize rangefinders, but the development of radar rendered it obsolete. In 1935, the United States Navy's Naval Research Laboratory began investigating and developing low-visibility ship camouflage. Some of the tactics were intended to deceive, such as painting a false bow wave to give the impression that the ship was moving quickly at all times. After causing confusion among ships operating in formation, attempts to make cruisers resemble destroyers were abandoned. During World War II, the color schemes used included light gray, haze gray, ocean gray, and black. After the war, it was decided that haze gray would provide adequate protection in most conditions, therefore the US Navy adopted this color scheme. Ocean gray was also frequently used as a standard color. Submarines still use black, but destroyers do not anymore when it was determined that flagships remain more visible than their gray counterparts, even in the darkest of nights. The choice to paint Navy warships gray was made in part because camouflage is best used when a ship is hidden rather than apparent. Gray ships blend into the horizon at larger distances than colorful ones, making them less apparent and making them less likely to be noticed by the enemy. Navy warships are less likely to be detected by such methods in modern naval warfare, where far-reaching ship surveillance is possible, because to advanced sensors and radar. Even on the brightest of days, if a military vessel is painted a stealthy shade of gray like light gray, it may be difficult to see it approaching the horizon. This is because there is less sea than you may believe. In an era where all ship designs look the same, a uniform gray, it will be increasingly harder to recognize a ship in bad weather. May cause a lag in the accurate identification of a ship. Even though it can be seen at great distances, it is difficult to find on sonar because the color gray absorbs sound waves. Gray paint is commonly used on Navy warships to make them less visible to enemy submarines. Sonar is used by submarines to find and track ships at sea, and a ship with many reflective surfaces can be found and tracked more readily. Gray paint is easier to apply and maintain, but it makes a ship less reflective of sound waves, making it harder for submarines to spot it. Also offers many useful advantages for naval warships. Gray is a neutral color that hides rust and dirt better than other colors, due to its ease of application and resistance to fading. As a result, maintaining a ship's appearance and functionality is less work. As an extra benefit, gray paint is more resistant to the corrosive effects of salt water, so that the ship's exterior would last longer while maintaining its original appearance. Gray-painted Navy boats also show out well against white seas, which is another advantage. Ships that spend a lot of time at sea must be able to maneuver safely and effectively in all weather. Sailors have an easier time maintaining their bearings in turbulent waters when the ship's outline is plainly visible. While different navies may use somewhat different shades of gray, using gray paint on Navy warships has become a practice that is deeply established in naval history. The color gray was chosen for these ships because it works well as camouflage, is fade-resistant, and symbolizes the professionalism and discipline of the sailors who serve on board. The same principles always apply. The fact that gray is only universal from the side perspective, and that upper deck colors vary greatly, is also noteworthy to note. Russian ships frequently paint their decks green or crimson, while other ships employ a darker gray known as deck gray.